In this video, I'm going to show you how to add these chat on WhatsApp or click to call buttons that link to WhatsApp on any website without accessing the theme files. And just to show you how it works quickly, here we are, chat on WhatsApp or click to call. If we click on any of those, it will then open the WhatsApp on your device. It'll open up WhatsApp immediately once the device is opened. It also pre-populates with a message, and in this case, I'm interested in your car for sale, but it can be whatever you want it to be. So I'm going to close that, and we're going to set this up on the website. So to make that all happen, I'm going to show you the plugins that I've used. So there are two plugins that I've used. The one is called Code Snippets, and the Code Snippets plugin is the one that I use for the snippets. So it's Code Snippets. And the second one that I use is the simple custom CSS and JS. And that's where we put in the custom CSS data to position the buttons where we want them on the page. So those are the only two plugins you need. And the code snippets, that's just so you don't have to access the functions file in your theme. And you can hook in and out of WordPress using snippets that do different things. So if I head over to the snippets file, what I'm going to do now is just deactivate the code snippet that I was using, and I'm also going to move over to the custom CSS and JavaScript, and what I'm going to do is deactivate that file. And so now when I refresh the page, you'll see that there aren't any buttons on the page, and we're going to put them back. So the first thing to get started then is to head over to snippets, and we're going to add a new snippet, and we're just going to call this WhatsApp call buttons. And the first thing we do is create a function. So the function, and you can give the function any name that you want, and I'll just call it WA buttons. So that's the basic layout for the function. And then what we're going to do now is hook this into the footer of WordPress. So we already know from WordPress to do that, it's add action, and it's WP underscore footer. And what must it put in there? And we're just going to copy the name of our function. Right, so that's the basic layout for the function, and I can activate that. Nothing's going to happen. Now what we need to do is just put in the basic outline. The first thing I need to do now is, because everything that we're going to do is really HTML based, I need to close off the PHP there and just open up the PHP again. So that's all that I need to do now. That's the only PHP coding that will be used. Everything else is HTML based. So the next thing I'm going to do now is create the div, and this is the div that will wrap the button. So div, and we'll give that a class, and we're going to call that class, let's call that WhatsApp wrap. And then we know that we must also close the div. Then we also know that inside that div we're going to have an A class, which is going to be the link. So A, and what we'll do here, href equals, and that's where we're going to put in the link. And we also need to close that off. Right, so now we've closed it off. That's the right. So that's pretty much all that we have to do at the moment. And then what we'll do is we'll do the text-based button first, and that will be click to call. Right, so that's what we want to happen, and I'm going to save that. And if we head over to the website, that will be added into the footer. So you can see there it is, click to call, but it's nowhere near what we want it to look like. So what we now need to do is add in that link to click through to WhatsApp. So to get that link, I'm going to head over to Google here, and I'm going to do WhatsApp link. And you'll see here that I get this FAQ whatsapp.com, how to use click to chat. I'm going to click on that, and in this page it gives me a lot of things. I don't know why it keeps defaulting to that language, but I'll put that back in English. And if you have a look here, you'll see that we have an example here of exactly what the link must look like. So what I'm going to do is copy that. Then I'm going to head back to my snippet, and I'm going to put that in my link. And then I'm going to say target equals, and so that it opens in a new tab, underscore blank. So now that is going to open in a new tab. So right, that's pretty much what we've done. We've just put the div, wrapped it with a class, and then we've put in this link. So let's have a look and see if that works. Going to head over here to the website, going to refresh. I'm going to click on the button, and there was an issue with that WhatsApp link. And the reason why there's an issue is because I've copied in the link, but I haven't updated the details. So now I'm going to put in my phone number, and it's the country code and then the number. Right, so I've just replaced in that number, and I've left everything else exactly the same. We'll save those changes. And now when I refresh the page and I click on that button, WhatsApp will open. Right, and if I click on open WhatsApp, of course WhatsApp will open, and inside WhatsApp will be the message, the pre-configured message. And I'm interested in your car for sale. Right, so we know that WhatsApp is working, the link is working, but it's positioned in the wrong part of the page. So that's a relatively quick thing to do. So we know that the class is WA wrap. So I'm going to go over here to my custom CSS and JS, and I'm going to add some CSS code, and I'll call that cool. Let me just publish that, and now we're going to add the code. So what we do know is that we copied the wrap CSS, and we'll just put that on the page. And the first thing we want to do is just change the position. So the position will be changed to fixed, so that it's fixed on the page. And then we know that from the bottom up, let's make that 100 pixels, and then from the right of the screen, let's make that 30 pixels. And then what I also want to do, I know that I need to give this a background color, and the background color that I will do now just for testing will be red, and we'll update that. So let's have a look. Now I'm going to refresh the website, and here on the right hand side you see that I have my click to call, and obviously I want to work within the colors for WhatsApp. So what I'm going to do is go back to that page in WhatsApp, and you'll see here that we have some brand guidelines, and I'm going to be kind of using a little bit of both here, the brand and non-brand. So we have all these brand guidelines, do's and don'ts, and then we have this link here with the logo and all the different ways, but also the colors. So I'm going to give the background color to my button over there, and then what I'm going to do is head back and just put in a background color here. I'm going to replace that with the hex value. Make sure there's no space. The other thing that I want to do is give it a border. So I'm going to give it a border radius, shall I say? Border dash radius. And I'm going to make that border radius 5 pixels. And I'm going to update that. And now I'm going to go and have a look and see what I've got. Right, so you'll see that it's green and the text is there. But that's to do with the link. So now what I'm going to do is change the link text. So it'll be the wrap and we'll add A, which indicates the link. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to change color to white, which is FFF. And what I'm also going to do is just add some padding in here now. So padding will be 8 pixels. And then I also want to change the color on the hover. So we do that, colon hover for the hover state, and I'm going to make that color white as well. So make sure the semicolon in there. Right, with that in place, we're going to update, head over to the website, and now we can see that yeah, things are starting to take shape. We've got the click to call, we know that it's working, and all that we need to do now is add the icon to the left hand side, WhatsApp logo, go to images, and then just download the one that you want to use. And in this case, I chose one with the transparent background, so I'm going to which I've already uploaded into WhatsApp, into my website, which is this one. So if I click on that, I see the logo, and here I've got copy URL to clipboard, and that's going to copy the logo. Close that, and then I'm going to head back to my snippets, and I'm going to add the button. So here we are on the snippet page, and I'm going to add that image before the click to call. So enter, and we go img source equals, we copied that source straight out of the media folder. I close the brackets, I save the changes, and when I refresh, you'll see that that image is now displayed, but it's a big image. So you can either resize before uploading, which is going to be better. In this case, though, I'm just going to use some CSS to make that smaller. So now I'm going to head over to my custom CSS, and I'm going to make that image smaller. Scroll down, and what I'm going to do now is add a new element in my CSS. So I'm going to use that same wrap, and what I'm going to do is add the image, and now I'm going to go with height, and the height of that image I'm going to just set it at 30 pixels, and the width I'm going to set to auto so that it resizes correctly. So with that done, let's save. Let's just, we'll update, and now when I refresh, you'll see that the button is in place, but everything is a little bit misaligned. So to get it lined up nice and easy, a quick way of doing that is we hit the inspect button. We make sure we have this inspection on the right hand side, but easier. I go to my wrap, and inside the wrap I have the A, and if I have a look inside my link, I have the image and I have the click to call, and I want to line those up. So what I'm going to do is add a display, and I'm going to make it flex, and then I'm going to click on this little icon here so that I change the flex box. So yes, it'll be a row, and I'm going to align the content in the middle. So there you can see everything is aligned very nicely, and then all I need to do is copy that text over to here, look for my A, the wrap A, and replace it with this. The other thing that I saw here is there isn't enough spacing here, so let's just add a bit of spacing around everything. So what I'll do is on the image, I'm just going to go margin and make that 5 pixels, and I wouldn't mind just a little bit of more space around the side, so let's make that 10. We'll update, and now when I refresh, it looks right. Let's just have a look at the image, and you'll see there's a problem. Quickly head back, and where we have the image, you will see that there's a margin right, should be 5 pixel. Okay, and that's it. Now we have the button working, and we have some nice spacing in there, and that's great. And on mobile, yeah, that kind of works really nicely. It's not too big, doesn't cover too much content, so that's great. Now I'm going to head back to the site, and maybe what I want to do is actually use maybe a WhatsApp button. So here we have this chat on WhatsApp button, and this is what the official button should look like. So I've already downloaded the official button, and to do that, if you scroll down here to use the latest version of the button, just click on that, and that will download all the button styles. And if you click on that and open it up, you will see the button styles in there. If we extract that and we have a look, then you'll see you have all the buttons there. And right, so I've uploaded the small one already. And what I'm going to do then is use that small button, this PNG, to create another WhatsApp button. Right, so the first thing I do now is I can close this. Right, I'm going to head back here to the website, and in the media folder, I've already uploaded that button. There it is there, and what I'm going to do now is just copy that URL to the clipboard, and then I'm going to head back to my snippets, scroll down, open up my snippet, and now what I want to do is just create another button, but this time I'm not going to have the click to call part. So I just paste in the URL here so I can find it nice and easy, and then below that I do that. Now what I'm going to do is just copy that again, and I'm going to replace this image source here with that image, and I'm also going to remove that click to call. The other thing is at the moment the two buttons would be positioned on top of each other, and what I'm going to do is just make that a B so I know that's the second button. And then what we do is we can save those changes, and then what I'm going to do is head over to my CSS so that I can just change the position of that button so it's not on top of the other one. At the moment it has no styling, so what I'll do is I'm going to just copy that, and I'll make that a B, and what I'll do is I'm just going to change the bottom then to be 150 pixels from the bottom instead of the same 100, and that should be all that I need to do to make it work. And do that. Head over now, and you'll see we have the second button, which is really big. And if we look at that on the desktop, you'll see, yeah, that's a really big button. So to change that, what I'm going to do is head down and just move that to 180 pixels from the bottom, and you can see the difference. Right, so that's it. The other thing is, if we have a look on mobile, you'll see that that's a really big button. So we might want to change the size of that on mobile, and to do that we'll head back to our style sheet and we'll just add some CSS that's applicable only to mobile. So it's add media space, and let's just say max width 768 pixels, and we're just saying that anything up to a maximum width of that must get whatever's inside here to style. So we know that it's the wrap B is what's going to be used. So I'm just going to copy that. And what I'm going to do is just change the image size. So wrap B and IMG. And then I'm going to go height. And let's make that height 50 pixels and see how that works out. So we update, head over to the website, refresh, and now you'll see, yeah, that's a much nicer, smaller image, and that's a little bit more acceptable. If you wanted to position your button across the bottom of the screen, so that would just take a little bit of change with the style. So here we have the styling for the wrap, and what I can do then is to have that stretch across the bottom of the page. is now just change the position. So bottom is now 0, and left is now 0, and right is now 0. So if I update that and I head back to the website and I refresh, you will see that that button now stretches all the way across the bottom. Maybe I want to change that border radius to 0 as well. Right. So now you can see that we have the button on the page, and if I refresh, right, and if I click on that, then WhatsApp also opens. So that's how we can position that at the bottom of the page. You'll see a slight discoloration here because the clickable area is not actually 100%. So to get that to work, I'm just going to head over here to the B and the A, and what I'm going to do now is let's make that padding 5 pixels and the width 100%. And what you might notice is that although we've done that, there's still a difference in color. So take the color picker, hover on that, get that color, head back, and now what I can do is just set the background. And what we should actually do is then also change the background. In fact, if we change the background here, we don't need to include the background here. Right. So we update that, and now you'll see that because the backgrounds are the same, and I head over to mobile, there's no difference in the color, even though that is a button. But we can click. We're going to set that A tag to 100%. So then we just take our color picker here. So you'll see how that the A tag is not just working as it should. And then I'm going to take the color. What I'm going to do now is just add. And I'm just going to. Doesn't work too well in the mobile view. Display flex. And you can see now that the A tag is working. So we just copy that across here to the let's just do this. Right, we update that, refresh. And now when we go to the mobile view, you can see that I can click anywhere in the mobile and that the A tag now covers the entire page. Right, so that's how we can position the button at the bottom of the page. And in the same way, we could do that to the other button as well. So very easily here, if I was to remove that, I don't need that. Don't need that. And if I was now just to take the wrap and I said position is already fixed, so I just need to go bottom 0, right 0, left 0, update, and now you'll see that the text-based button is across the bottom of the page. And in a similar way now, if I wanted to position that in the center, what I would need to do then just on the text is here we have the wrap, and it might work here. If it doesn't work here to position in the center, display. Then we will do it in the A tag. And in the A, what we're going to do then is just add a display flex. And I can then set that to the center. And you'll see there that it's already centered. And I can also give it some padding. I'm going to copy that. Head back to my style sheet. I'm going to just paste that in there. Update. And now you'll see that we have the button with the 5 pixels. And I can click anywhere in that space and it will open. So that's the CSS that we need there to make that work. And what I'll also do here is just go border 0, right, and scroll down or update. And now when I refresh on the front page, you'll see that the radius is gone and we have that button at the bottom. And yet when we go back to the desktop view, everything is in the position that it needs to be. Right, so that's how you can add these WhatsApp click to call buttons anywhere. And if you want to change the message that's in there, we can just head over to our snippets. And in our snippet, you'll see that everything after text and here you scroll down, save the changes, refresh. It's updated immediately. So when I click on that one and I open in WhatsApp, not any message you want. And if I do that with the second button, then you'll see the second message. This is my new message. So that's how easy it is then to add the WhatsApp click to call button to the WordPress website without editing the theme files in any way. And we do that with the code snippets plugin and this custom CSS and JS. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. Thank you for watching.